The Bond Trick, How America Turned Debt into Power. 1. The hidden engine of empire. You've always been told America runs on taxes, trade, and productivity. But the true fuel of the modern empire isn't work, it's debt. Not the kind you owe a credit card company, but the kind that governments create from thin air and promise to repay with money that doesn't yet exist. This is the bond trick, the quiet mechanism that turned the United States into the world's financial gravity well. Through it, America learned to finance wars, growth, and crises using nothing but its own promises, promises so powerful that the entire world still believes in them. Footnote: debt is not merely liability, it's sovereignty, when everyone accepts your IOUs as wealth. 2. The birth of the trick, from gold to paper power. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was born. Back then, every dollar was tied to gold. War broke that link. To fund World War I, Washington issued bonds and the Fed bought them, creating new dollars to pay for promises. When the guns went silent, the habit remained. By the time Nixon ended the gold standard in 1971, the dollar was no longer a weight of metal. It was pure confidence, a global IOU backed by the credibility of the United States itself. From that moment, the bond market became the new gold mine, but this time, the ore was belief. Footnote: when a nation controls the unit of account and the buyer of its own debt, fiscal restraint becomes optional. 3. Quantitative easing, the magic loop. Fast forward to 2008. The financial system imploded, and the Fed unveiled a new weapon, quantitative easing, buying trillions in bonds with newly created money. The results? Markets recovered, interest rates collapsed, and borrowing became nearly free. Each crisis brought more K. Each round of rescue deepened dependency. Debt was no longer a side effect of policy, it became policy. Footnote: K turned the central bank into both market maker and buyer of last resort, the invisible hand propping up confidence itself. 4. The global illusion, when everyone buys the dream. Every nation needs reserves, and every reserve starts with U.S. Treasuries. Foreign central banks, pension funds, and corporations hold trillions in American IOUs. Every purchase strengthens the dollar, and reinforces the illusion of safety. The U.S. can spend endlessly because the world cannot afford to stop lending to it. It's empire without occupation, tribute paid in trust. But cracks are forming, China reducing exposure, Russia shifting to gold, BRICS exploring alternatives. The anchor is still strong, but rust is spreading. Footnote: global dollar demand is not infinite, it's inertia wearing the mask of faith. 5. The endgame, when confidence meets consequence. Today, U.S. debt exceeds $34 trillion. Interest costs rival defense spending. The Fed's balance sheet holds over $8 trillion in bonds, paper assets backed by political promises. So long as people believe, the trick works. When belief falters, the spell breaks. If the Fed prints, inflation roars. If it doesn't, yields spike. Either way, the reckoning comes. The question isn't whether the bond trick will end, only how loud the final act will sound. Footnote: every empire discovers that trust, once monetized, cannot be unspent.